Gundam is a versatile mobile suit, well suited for nearly any range. With the ability to fit any team thanks to its powerful weapons and useful tools, with a little bit of time, practice, and new type intuition, Gundam will prove to be an invaluable unit for your team. Few abilities, many uses. Let's get right into it. Gundam's primary weapon is the trusty beam rifle. With a hip-fire primary and aim-down sight secondary, the beam rifle rewards precision and quick target acquisition with big damage on headshots, leading to many kills in the 2 to 3 shot range. It'll take some time on the firing range, but once you get your aim trained up, you'll be able to down people quickly, even at close range. While the effective range of the beam rifle is quite long, be mindful of your damage drop-off range, as the beam rifle does not serve as a counter to long-range sniper units like GM Sniper 2 or a fully charged Turn A beam rifle shot. Treat it like a short to long, medium range. While not as good of an option, as aiming down sight tends to be, hip firing on the beam rifle is something you don't want to neglect. While the spread on the hip fire is very large after first shot, it's still a tight enough grouping that, when caught off guard in the middle of a cramped firefight, you can still get off a decent amount of damage from rapid body shots. You really have to be close enough to spam it, however. Once you become proficient and consistent enough with your aim and reaction speed and target tracking skills, you can easily substitute hipfire with quick ADS instead, assuming you're able to land headshots or acquire your targets fast. Don't be afraid though to fall back on hipfire while still learning. Try to keep a close eye on long hallways, important chokes, or popular routes enemies might take. A Gundam willing to lay down a lot of fire in a small place applies enough pressure to hold enemies back for just a little bit. Even if you aren't damaging HP, dropping shield HP is almost as important, especially if you spot a Sazabi or a GM making a shielded advance. Gundam's first ability is its shield. Neglected by many players, this ability plays a pivotal role in the unit's versatility and adaptability. Unlike GM or Sazabi, Gundam's shield is based on the ability being at the ready and not in a cooldown state, as opposed to being assigned to right-click. It will always have full HP when it comes back off of cooldown. You can use your shield to protect your teammates, take points and push forward, win 1v1 engagements, and protect yourself in unfavorable situations where you're caught off guard. As such, it's a powerful tool that's great in almost any situation and at any time. Use your shield to cover yourself while moving through an angle a sniper might be watching, or when approaching a high-traffic, popular area of the map to preemptively negate any unnecessary damage that you might take. A fight when you're at full health is a fight in your favor, always. If not at full health, you can utilize your shield to disengage from bad fights, or if you're feeling ballsy, you can even use it to turn the tide in a 1v1 situation by covering yourself to make a play. Once you master movement in Gundam Evolution, you can use the shield for aggressive engagements to catch opponents off guard. By far the most powerful use case for Gundam's shield is protecting allies, when allies are low in health, or going for a revive on another teammate. If possible, drop what you're doing and move in a position to cover them, either as they escape or attempt the revive. A 10-second cooldown over a 15-second revive is an unbeatable trade, and with how fast this game moves, those 5 seconds can make all the difference. The last thing to be mindful of is shield stripping abilities from other enemy units, such as Turn A's Judo Toss, and many more. If possible, bait out these moves before using your shield in 1v1 situations or when you're caught alone on your own against these units. Quite possibly my favorite ability in the game. Gundam's second ability is the Hyper Hammer. The Hyper Hammer has the ability to deal damage nearly on par with a headshot, knock them back, and stun your opponent on a successful direct hit, making this one of the most powerful abilities in the entire game. The hammer itself acts as a projectile with travel speed and even some drop. After a moderate wind-up animation, Gundam will throw the hammer out in the direction of your crosshair. Landing a direct hit will stun your opponent and deal a large sum of damage, as well as strip them of their shields if they have any, on top of disabling that shield use until it comes back from cooldown, as if it was fully used. And as if that wasn't enough, it'll also knock back on direct hit as well. If you don't land a direct hit with the hammer, it will simply just do its knockback effect in an AoE around where the hammer lands. This ability does take some getting used to, however, between the wind-up, drop, and speed of the projectile, and even the timing at which it will actually fire in the direction you're aiming. Thanks to the wind-up though, You're able to pre-fire the hammer and adjust your aim before you send it out. This is useful when boost jumping past a corner or an opponent, as if you're fast enough you can adjust your aim and hit them when they least expect it, mid-turn. Committing to aggressive plays with the hammer can be risky. This ability does serve as the only real hard disengagement tool that Gundam has, assuming your shield is on cooldown. If it isn't, stunning an opponent and retreating with your shield up while facing them can save you from a flanking unit that wants to catch you in a 1v1 situation where it most likely favors them. Gundam's G maneuver is the Super Napalm. Gundam will reel back, hurl the Super Napalm, then fire to detonate after a brief delay. This G maneuver deals heavy damage over time and even works through terrain. While you aren't able to move while performing this toss, you can pivot in place and flick your aim so that you'll throw the G maneuver in your desired location before the animation finishes. Super Napalm is a powerful area denial tool that can be used to force retreats, wipe objectives clean of enemies, or force those very same enemies into unfavorable positions in order to escape the huge damage, the gigantic AoE. However, you do want to be mindful that the canister itself has its own health pool, and it can very easily be shot down by skilled players. As such, if at all possible, try and use it when not in plain sight, or when you're in a position to catch the enemy off guard with it. Even when used head-on, it still does prove to be a powerful tool to apply pressure to large parts of the map. Since the AoE goes through terrain, you can also use it right up against walls or parts of the map. If somebody's camping on the other side, and you know that they are probably going to be killing your team if they move through a choke point, feel free to toss it down. Let it happen. Let's head to the test range and talk about movement. So, Gundam Evolution does not present units of measurement. However, there's markers along the shooting range that imply 100 meter increments since we're in giant mobile suits. As this is an arena shooter, since the scale is kind of taking a hit for the game, so we're going to refer to these simply as units. In Gundam Evolution, mobile suits have boost gauges divided up into segments. These segments are commonly referred to as steps by both the developers and partner Japanese streamers. I'll be referring to them as such. After 6 seconds of holding forward, Gundam travels roughly 320 to 330 units, giving it about average movement speed compared to the rest of the cast. Upon consuming its entire step gauge boosting, Gundam will travel about 850 units over 9 seconds or so. As boosting is omnidirectional, no matter which direction you're boosting, as long as you perform it the correct way, you'll always go the same distance, no matter the direction you choose. Utilizing a single step boost, you're going to go about 55 to 65 units per step. Jump distance on flat ground is about 55 to 65 units as well, but much slower than a boost. Now this is one of my favorites. Boost jumping is a technique wherein after performing a boost, you jump just after, allowing the boost momentum to carry over into your jump. The timing is a bit tricky, but boost jumping is well worth learning. I'll show off the benefits of boost jumping right now. A boost jump will cover a distance of about 100 or more units, depending on how good your timing is. It is possible to cut your boost early, and as such, you'll cut your distance. In this segment right here, we can see the difference in distance traveled between 2 normal boosts or a boost jump. Going back to what I said before, if at any time during a boost you let go of the direction you're holding for said boost, you'll actually cut it short and cut your gauge consumption short as well. We're going to be calling this boost canceling because you're canceling your boost. It works in any direction and it can be helpful for juking. And there are some abilities that can help boost cancel while preserving the full momentum of the boost. Let's put it all together. We're going to start off with 2 rounds from the same game, one on offense and again on defense. When playing Gundam, you have multiple options of how you'll play him depending on what's going on around you. If you put in the practice, you can be aggressive and lead the charge, and occasionally go off on your own to flank, or try and win 1v1 engagements on people who really don't respect what your mobile suit can do. You could stick with your team in a group formation, provide cover fire, shielding, or take point in place of a GM or Sazabi and soak up damage for your team. You could easily keep watch of objectives with powerful tools and defend it from being taken, or in the case of defusal, you can defend the arm duration or the disarm duration. Just hop in front of your buddies and press E. It really is that simple. Ultimately, the best choice at any given time when playing Gundam is based entirely off of your own personal skill level and your situational awareness. It really comes down to you knowing how to use your tools and being able to adapt at the drop of a hat. You really need to be able to do that in order to play Gundam very well. However, and this goes for all units, if you're ever unsure as to what to do, Gundam is a very safe pick. But while playing him, if you've picked him as a safe, stick with your team. That's always going to be the safest option for you to take, especially if you're still learning the character and you don't feel comfortable going buck wild. In the clips you're watching, I alternate between sticking with the team, going off on my own, or patrolling the area to pester people or get picks. Gundam Evolution is a very fast-paced arena hero shooter, and you need to be ready for anything at any time. It sounds like a lot, really. It's only really going to take you about 5 or 6 games for them to really click, provided you just hop into the testing range and get practice your stuff full. Because once you get a handle on how to use your stuff, the sky's the limit. You can do whatever the heck you want. Time for tips and tricks. So, we've only got 2 segments here, so I'll keep it short. You can cancel your full shield duration by using any other active abilities. I recommend sticking with the Hyper Hammer or the Super Napalm for canceling, as there's a strange delay on firing your primary weapon. I'm not really sure why it's there, but on left and right click, it just takes much longer. You can dish out more damage in a shorter amount of time by canceling with your F into spamming left click or ADS left click. So that's something that I've found in my roughly 70 hours of play. A majority of that has been on Gundam, so take that as you will. The only other thing is I'm going to demonstrate the bouncing properties of the Super Napalm. It's interesting. You do need to take some time to practice your ricochets. The grenades in this game tend to lose 70% momentum at first bounce and then the rest of it on second. The only other grenade that does that in this game is the Mahiro primary. It acts pretty much the same, however, the Super Napalm is a bit floatier. Once again, as you can see in these clips, you can bounce it and bank it to get all sorts of interesting trick shots. You can bounce it off of walls, you can bounce it off the ground, which will send it higher in the sky, which can help cover more vertical space at the cost of the radius being shortened at the ground level, which is fine because it's only going to raise it about 50 units or so. Still big enough to take out the bigger chunkier boys. So that's pretty much it I have for tips and tricks. Everything else you've seen through the other clips throughout the video. So I'd welcome you to check all the other chapters on the video just to go over anything that you're unsure of. Thanks for watching. I hope this guide and showcase proves helpful in learning how to play Gundam. Feel free to leave questions, comments, concerns, or your own tips and anything else that I might have missed in the comments. Also, let me know which suits you're interested in seeing covered next. The next suit I have on the chopping block is going to be Turn A, but after that, pretty much anything's fair game. And I'll see you folks next time. You guys have a good one now.